Welcome to the Three Questions webcast series. I'm Wayne Baxter, Senior Executive Manager with One Capital Management. One Capital Management, we develop and implement strategies for our clients who strive to grow, protect, and ultimately distribute their wealth. And we do that by offering investment wealth management services. Thank you for taking time to check us out. And if you enjoyed this episode of the Three Questions webcast series, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Clients are often referred to as cross-border clients. Why is that? Well, it's because they're either U.S. or Canadian residents who invest in U.S. and or Canadian dollar denominated securities like stocks, bonds, or ETFs. Our process for advising our clients includes an in-depth discovery and diagnostic analysis of their wealth management goals and objectives. And as one would expect, that analysis will include a review of their estate planning strategy. Now, one area that shouldn't be overlooked is how your personal property should be handled, especially so if your personal property includes luxury items. And by the way, what are luxury items in the first place? And on this webcast today, what we're going to do is we're going to answer that question and a few other burning questions. And to help us, we're going to speak to a 30-year veteran in the high-end estate and antique jewelry business. On this webcast, we'll be reviewing the 3 questions you should ask before selling your luxury personal property. And joining me from Agoura Hills, California is Dana Ehrman with Luxury Selling Solutions. Dana is a graduate gemologist and a 30-year veteran of the high-end estate and antique jewelry and watch business. And that includes the 15 years as the director of the jewelry department for one of the most prestigious international auction houses here in the United States. Dana created Luxury Selling Solutions as an independent concierge service to work one-on-one with her clients as their professional selling advocate. Dana, great to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Really, thank you for making time for me. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you so much, Wayne. Very much appreciate it.
Now, before we get to all of our questions, I wanted to mention that I had recently had the pleasure of seeing you do a talk on the topic of luxury items. And by the way, you were awesome.
Thank you.
And one of the points that you shared was how different tastes are in terms of luxury items are now from, say, the 1970s, which, according to my 22-year-old son, is when dinosaurs roamed the earth. But maybe you could just talk a little bit about how tastes have changed.
Well, I mean, if you
since the 70s, which, you know, is the greatest decade.
Wear your spangled pants from the disco era.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, from the 1970s to now, so much has changed taste-wise and fashion-wise. And if you look at the homes today and how we decorate, it's so completely different. Our lifestyles are so different. So all of the things that your grandmother told you not to touch, the crystal, the china, the silver, even the furniture, all those lovely things that made a home in 1970, today, we don't have that same, we don't covet it. We don't have that same passion for them. And unfortunately, the market has really dipped.
Interesting. Another point you made during that presentation that I found interesting was not all luxury items are in high demand at the same time. And I think you used examples of, I think it was jewelry and art. I may stand corrected on that. So maybe you could just share a little bit on that as well.
Right. So again, you know, fashion's fickle. It doesn't matter if it's a handbag and a dress or if it is artwork in the specific genres of artwork. They fluctuate, they're fluid, they're volatile. Things change constantly depending on what is popular globally. So, right. You know, what was popular yesterday might not be popular tomorrow.
But one thing you did mention, though, was that when art is popular, jewelry isn't. There seems to be a juxtaposition between.
So when the art market is high, the diamond market tends to be low. And as things are changing right now, so things are doing this right now and they're starting to regulate, the diamond market specifically is hopefully going back up again as the art market is softening. It's just an interesting juxtaposition with art and jewelry and diamonds.
And that goes back. That's not a new phenomenon. This is historically.
This goes way back. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. 20th century, 21st century, very much so.
Interesting. All right, Dana, let's go right to our questions here. The 3 questions you should ask before selling your luxury property. The question number 1, and I guess this is starting at entry level, which is a good thing since I'm the host here. Where do I start? That's the first question. Where do we start with this process?
So the what I generally tell people is the easiest place to start is start taking photographs of some of the things you have around your house. If it's artwork and you're not sure, photograph all of it. You want to photograph the entire piece and the artist's signature. If it is jewelry, it has to be seen in person, but I like to start at least with photographs so I get an idea of what people have to be able to best advise them so that we can move forward, or I can move them on to someone else depending on what the value is. So photos are always a great way to start, and then we meet one-on-one. And really, my service is a very personal service. It's, I get very intimate with clients, understanding what they need out of the situation. So is it that they're selling the house immediately and they need to get the valuables out of the house? Or is it that, mom is still alive and we're just trying to figure out what we're going to do because mom no longer needs these items? It really depends on the client's needs.
All right. So basically, it's not dissimilar from what I do when I meet with a prospective client for the first time. I conduct a discovery. So basically, what you're saying is essentially the same thing. You want to do a
Correct.
discovery first, take a look at what we're working with, and then you can figure out where to go from there.
Correct.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so question number 2. And realistically speaking, what types of items have and or don't have value? What is a luxury item in the first place? And I think what you've talked about earlier was that some of that changes. It isn't what's a luxury item in, say, 1970, maybe not so much today.
Correct. So, again, the markets fluctuate. And if we speak about jewelry and diamonds and watches, they fluctuate quite a bit. We're beholden to the metals markets, which change constantly, especially if we're at war or the Russia and Ukraine war changed the metals markets overnight. But right now, what people really are collecting: jewelry, watches, art in specific genres. Some genres are more collectible than others. Anything that is silver, anything that goes into the market of tangible goods. So coins people are putting money into right now. The market is slightly softening for metals. People need to be careful, but your grandfather's coin collection is worth money right now. So, lots of people in the 60s and 70s collected coins. Now's the time to sell. The markets are still strong enough to really make money off of those coin collections. So it just depends on what they are, but luxury goods are something that holds value. Even handbags in today's market, if they're the right brand name, have value in the market as a commodity.
Interesting. I'm just sitting here. This is why unscripted webcasts and podcasts are so excellent, because I'm just standing here thinking, my mother has my late mother, I have a coin collection that she had from, I don't know, 100 years now. We may have to get together.
We may have to.
That may not be a bad idea. Interesting. All right. So question number 3, great answer to number 2, Dana. Question number 3, once we've established which items have value, how do we sell them?
So what
who better to ask than you?
Absolutely. So this is what I do for a living. So my whole point is to allow the client to understand and educate them what the markets are for their luxury goods, because not all luxury goods can be sold in the same markets or should be sold in the same markets. So I take the data that I've gotten from the client. So I may have gone in and taken lots of photographs, lots of actual physical information on the items, especially if it's artwork. And then I go into the markets, whether it is cash, consignment, or public auction, and I get the actual live cash offers, the actual consignment prices, and the auction estimates with the contract terms from the auction houses. And I'm only going to the most appropriate auction houses for these items. And then I collect all this information, bring it to the client, sit down with the client, and the client makes all the decisions. I do not. So I make sure that the client understands what they're getting into so that there are no surprises. And then we go forward with the direction that they want to go. If I have to help facilitate transportation of the items, if they're large items, I help with that. So I'm a concierge service. I help them the whole way through. I'm with them from the very beginning, literally to the very end, at the point that they get paid, to make sure everybody's happy.
So there's no, well, I mean, relatively to say, I know you're located here in Southern California, Dana, but if someone who's watching this in, say, upper New York State or in Florida or Illinois, or even my home country of Canada, I mean, if there's enough to work with, if you need to go there, you're not excluded from, traveling a little bit to help people out.
Absolutely. I live in my car. And I've had clients in the past year all over the country, literally from the states you just mentioned, from Chicago to New Jersey to Miami. So I've had clients all throughout the US, and I can help them equally as well in whether it's in person or just over Zoom, depending on what the items are that they had. They all had artwork. And so that was and one had a piano in New Jersey. And so that's what I've worked with over photographs and over Zoom.
Interesting. It's amazing how Zoom and GoToMeeting and all those types of, even FaceTime.
Game changing. Absolutely. Yeah. It's game changing.
It's amazing how you can now work more virtually. Now I understand here, we've really only scratched the surface on this topic of, valuations and the sale of luxury items. And this conversation could have gone in a innumerable number of directions. I would definitely say this. I would really like for you to come back and join us again in the not too distant future. Honest to God, I think it would be great. I'm sure we can come up with another topic that would be of interest for our audience. In the meantime, though, Dana, for someone who's looking, for your assistance, maybe they're listening or watching today and going, I too have a coin collection I'm wondering about, or whatever the case may be. What is the best way for them to reach you? How would you recommend they reach out and try to connect with you?
They are welcome to text me anytime. My cell is with me all the time. Texting is the fastest because I'm usually in my car. If they would rather not and they would rather email me, you absolutely can email me. Not a problem. You can always just text me photos in the moment. If you think that you've got something, you're like, I don't know, go ahead and just text me the photo. Tell me who you are. Give me your cell phone number and your email. Text me your photos, and I'm happy to help.
And we've posted your cell phone number and your email address here on the screen, and also your website. So folks watching in today, they'll be able to see that. Luxury selling solutions at gmail.com. That's the email address.
It's the easiest for photos. That's the one that's easiest for photos because it just goes straight through. So I always recommend that one. You can also do Dana at luxurysellingsolutions.com. But if you're sending photos, the Gmail is probably the fastest.
Perfect. Thanks again, Dana. Thank you for joining us. Great job. That was fun.
Thank you so much, Wayne. This is always so much fun. I really appreciate it.
Dana Ehrman is the founder and owner of Luxury Selling Solutions, and she joins us today from Agoura Hills, California. I look forward to bringing you the 3 Questions webcast, and I hope you find them educational and informative. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. And to receive a notification of when our latest webcasts have been posted, please click on the notifications bell. Lastly, to schedule an online Zoom consultation with me to discuss your wealth management needs, please click on the link in the description box below, www.onecapital.com/meet with Wayne. Thank you and see you soon.